Hey, DNA Strand crew, TJ here with the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. Today we're going to be bringing you a 2023, way too early, rookie mock draft. It's that time. I can't wait. Let's jump into it. Hope you join us.
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty League. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at TJ Blake DNA. And as always, I'm joined by our co-host and show architect, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can find him on Twitter at A-Train DNA. What's going on, Ann?
What's going on, man?
Not much. And next to him, we got the co-host, the producer, the man that's never owned a first-round pick ever. It's Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty DNA. Ty, what's going on, Ty?
What's going on, guys? Uncharted territory today, but I'm going to kick ass.
All right. And last but not least, it's the guy that traded for first-round picks before trading for first-round picks was cool. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at Dynasty DNA Mus. What's going on, man?
Oh, what's happening?
Not too much. Well, a lot of big things happening today. We're going to dip our toes in the water. This is going to be our first attempt at YouTube. We're going to hope to get that out there soon. It's going to be interesting. But, yeah, it's going to be a 2023 rookie way too early mock draft today. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the things we always wait for when it comes to Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're finally here. We can talk about some of these guys. And a lot of them finally declared, too, which is a good thing.
Yeah, some of them were kind of scary.
It was getting down there to the end, and it was like, man, do they go back with all them deals that they're getting now? It just makes things a little more hairy, just a little bit more murky. You ain't sure, but it's looking like a lot of them are coming out. So we're gonna dip our toes in. But before we get into any of it, we're going to the breaking news with Mus.
Okay, the Commanders are not committed, but they're thinking they're going to roll Sam Howell as the starter for 2023.
Yeah.
It's all right, I thought.
He looked good.
Yeah, you got to give him a chance. I mean, he can't do any worse than Carson Wentz or Taylor Heineke, I don't think.
Where are they picking in the first round? It'll be kind of like mid-ish.
That's what I
So probably nobody real great.
Right. I mean, they've got other holes to fill, too.
Yeah,
so.
they do.
They got a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah. Seattle supposedly does want Geno back, and if they can't reach a deal, they're considering franchising. I said they would consider franchising.
Which I think's a good move. I mean, he's really, even for him, he's going to get a lot of money even on a one-year deal. But, man, it makes it tough. He's going to have to play well again to try to, get more money later on.
Yep.
Joe Lombardi fired.
Yeah, I think Staley,
he took
a little heat off him.
Yeah.
You know what we call that? That's called a scapegoat.
Yeah.
The Titans' defensive assistant, Jim Schwartz, is hired by Cleveland for a defensive coordinator.
Wow. Yeah, Cleveland needed to do something. They need to clean up their defense, and they need to learn how to run the damn ball when they got one of the best running games in the league.
Don't give them any ideas. Let them keep fucking up. That's okay. It's better for Kenny Pickett and the Steelers.
That's right.
I seen on Twitter, he was a defensive coordinator for the Eagles back at the end of the day. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago, and they hate him.
Yeah.
He said the Browns are in for rude awakening.
Well, when aren't they in for rude awakening?
Couldn't have no better franchise.
That's right.
Aaron Rodgers told the Pat McAfee show that he's not mentally or emotionally available at this moment.
Drama queen.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a drama queen.
He's going to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Yep. I bet he plays and he leaves. I'm with you there.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts has no injury designation going into this weekend, so we'll see.
I like the Giants' chances this week, man.
Yeah, be a good game.
Yeah, it should. Russell Gage was released from the hospital.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good news. That was ugly, man.
And CEH is starting to practice this week.
Wow.
If they use them.
Yeah. Probably won't.
Watch, they probably will. Then everyone will get sucked back in for next year.
I'll give you a first.
Yeah. Then I'll go over the games here. The 49ers beat Seattle 41-23.
And I'll tell you what, man, the 49ers look good right now. They're rolling. They are my pick to get out of the NFC. I think they got a really good chance. I think they're the most complete team.
Yeah.
They got a good team.
They're fantastic. Their defense is ridiculously good.
And then Brock Purdy, man, stepping up.
I know.
40 fantasy points, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
he ran one in.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more.
No.
The Jacksonville Jaguars came back on the Chargers 31-30.
Wow.
You know, I just always imagine that fan looking at the camera with like eyes like they seen a ghost and just says, the wheels come off.
Oh, yeah. Did you see Lawrence stopped at Waffle House after?
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I just can't believe the Chargers, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they do this kind of shit all the time.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sorry, Brandon Staley, how he has a job. But, hey, I can't say much. We're Steeler fans. Matt Canada's still employed. I mean, I don't know how this stuff works.
Oh, and he's staying.
It's official, yeah.
Oh, is it official?
Yep.
Because I saw a report that said that they're waiting to see if Brian Leftwich gets.
No, it just reported today that he's staying.
I didn't see that.
Good for us.
Yeah, great. Buffalo beat Miami 34-31, which that was actually kind of surprising.
I'll give Miami credit.
Oh, yeah,
I'll give them a
tough.
lot of credit because I didn't think they had no chance, and they went in there with a lot of heart. And I'll give that Mike McDaniel a lot of credit too. He's a good head coach. I mean, he had them playing.
Yeah,
they just were unfortunate they didn't have Tua. I think if they had a Tua, they might have won it.
But Buffalo's lucky they didn't play Kansas City or Cincinnati. They would have got wiped out.
McDaniel hit the vape one too many times.
I saw that. Did he ever come out and say it was a vape or anything?
No, he didn't. Which I figured if he did, he'd just say, fuck it, I did.
Right.
He just seems like that kind of person. He's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, he's kind of strange, too. I could see.
He is. Like I like Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, I do, too.
What's that? West Coast Express.
The Giants beat Minnesota 31-24.
Yeah. Andy is very happy right now. And I'll say this.
Man.
The Giants looked really good, too. And, I mean, it's still early, and the Eagles got a dang good football team. But I will say this. Anyone that don't say that the Giants don't have a chance to go in there and win that game are only kidding themselves. Daniel Jones is playing on another level right now.
Yeah,
And he's throwing to Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Talk about the waiver wire pickup of the year.
and I'm just seeing all kinds of stuff. Like, he ran the ball 17 times. They're doing, like, these quarterback sleeps like they did with Allen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see him implementing that.
Yeah. And then
See what happens.
It'll be nice to see them get a receiver in the draft. I mean, all kinds of mocks have a receiver going, so that'll help.
Need
to. Cincinnati beat Baltimore 24-17, which Baltimore had every opportunity to win that game.
Yeah. How about John Harbaugh? Did you see that interview he did with the sideline reporter? She asked him, is there any chance that we'll see Anthony Brown? He smiled at her. He goes, I don't know. We'll see, okay? We'll see.
Yeah.
It's like, what a douchebag. He sucks, too. He's a horrible coach. I hate that guy. The Harbaughs are so overrated.
Yeah, I'm glad the other Harbaugh went back to Michigan.
Yeah.
And it looks like he might be coming back to – is he coming back to the NFL?
No, he committed to Michigan.
He's going back to
Probably
Michigan.
because Blake Corum stayed.
Yeah.
Michigan has the same problem as Penn State. James Franklin, overrated. Jim Harbaugh, overrated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cowboys beat the Buccaneers 31-14. So there's Tom Brady's exit. I wasn't going to believe it until I saw it.
Yeah, I know, man. You never count Tom Brady out, but I'll tell you, man, he had a rough year. It's so tough to tell if he's really washed, or if it's just what happened to him.
Yeah.
And if that really played a factor. But I'll tell you, man, one thing is, Jerry Jones, you got to love him. He was almost in tears. They won a wild card game, and he was almost in tears. I mean, hey, good, bad, or differently. You know that guy cares.
Yeah,
you got to give him credit.
And that was the Cowboys' first road victory in the playoffs in like 30 years.
Yeah, that was big for them. And I'll tell you, man, with the kicker, Marhar, missing all them extra points.
We just witnessed history.
In the back of my mind, I was sitting there thinking, like, oh, my God. Like, this is like, if you give Tom Brady anything,
I thought
I know he could come back.
I think that's why Dak was flipping out. You don't give him chances.
Yeah.
So this weekend we got Jacksonville and KC.
That should be a good one. I mean, I'm happy for Jacksonville, and I've said it. I'm trying to get a lot of fantasy shares in on them. I like their offense where it's going. I like their coach. And it's going to be a tough task, but you never know. I mean, hey, underdogs, they go in there with nothing to lose.
Maybe we can kind of do it like the NFL shows to see who all you got. You know what I mean? How they do that before games.
Yeah.
Well, so let's start with you, Muss. Who do you got?
Yeah.
Prediction.
I think you got to go KC.
Ty?
Yeah, Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City at home, too tough.
I want to take Jacksonville, but I
know,
can't. I can't, man. I can't.
They just don't have quite enough. I think, especially on
They're
defense.
close, but like they're playing so good.
Right.
They kind of got lucky with the LA game. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, not saying they didn't deserve the win, but some of the shit that happened.
Well, you're not going to give KC 27 points.
No.
27-point lead and expect to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got to put a full game together.
Yep.
We got the Giants and Philly.
Oh, man.
Muss, who you
I
taking?
got to go Philly here. Sorry, Ann.
I understand.
This is I think it's going to be a really tight game. The Giants, they're believing. They even said they think they have a great chance to make the Super Bowl, but I think Philly's just a little bit too much for them.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Wow.
And I'm going to take them by a field goal. I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be one of them 24-27 type games. I really like Philly. I think they got a really good team. They're going in the right direction, but I just don't know, man. They got a really young team yet. And I just really like Brian Dable, man. He's got something special cooking right now with the Giants. I mean, and Philly could easily win it. My gut just pointing me towards the Giants. I can't help it. I go by field goal.
Yeah.
Giants.
I think I'm going to stick with you. And I know I'm a bit of a homer here.
It happens.
But I don't know. I'm the same way. Like, I just feel like the Giants just keep finding ways to win. And I think they find a way to win again.
Yeah, I do too. And Philly's been on a layoff. I don't like that.
The same here. I said that. I feel like it's the fall.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree it's going to be a close game, no blowout.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be. I probably think it'll be one of the best games of the weekend.
All for
Yeah,
sure.
I could see it.
Okay, then we got Cincinnati and Buffalo. Both teams are kind of sucked in the wild card round. I think I'm just going to go with the home team and just go Buffalo at home. I mean, other than that.
Yeah, I think
both teams kind of laid a stinker in the first game.
Yeah. Boy, that's tough because Buffalo's defense looked pathetic against Miami. But I think I got to go Buffalo. I just think they got a better all-around team. And I just think it's going to shape out just like last year. It's going to be Kansas City versus Buffalo.
That's what they want.
Big rating game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Buffalo by real close margin, 3 to 6 points. I think that I'm like you. I think the NFL's hoping that it's Buffalo, Kansas City again. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to rig it that way, but I mean, deep down, you know that's what they want.
Right.
And the thing is, man, I don't know. Buffalo's the home team. There is something to that to me in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I do think that does mean something. And I don't know. I mean, they kind of dodged a bullet with Miami. Maybe that scares them enough that they get back to normal and get playing good football again. Who are you going with, Ian?
I'm going to go Buffalo, too. I mean, I really wanted to try with Cincinnati, but I just not quite there. I just think Josh Allen, he's too good.
Right.
He's too good. And their defense, they looked a little bit rough, but they put something together here. I think it could be a high-scoring game, but I don't know, man. Josh Allen running the ball and everything, it's just
right.
Them third down situations, like.
And he had a bad game last week, and it still looked like a good game for him.
Yeah.
Then we got Dallas and San Fran.
Mossy, you go.
Oh, I gotta go San Fran. They do look like the most complete team in the NFC.
Yeah, I think this might be kind of close, but I got to go San Fran too. They're the most complete team in football.
Yeah, I'm going San Fran too. But here's my thing: if somehow, some way, Dallas keeps this close, they might win this game just because they suffered that embarrassment with San Fran last year. And I could see them wanting to avenge that. And they might be playing really hard, but I don't know. With Dallas, you just don't know. You got Dak, who hasn't really been all that proven. Mm-hmm. You have their kicker, who's a mess right now. It just seems like one of them games that I don't think they have enough ammunition to win. So, Brock Purdy, good, bad, or indifferently, he's holding San Fran in there.
Yeah, he is.
And, with their defense, with their weapons, I think that they're just the most complete team. Like I said, I like Kyle Shanahan. I'm going 49ers by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going San Fran as well. And I could see it being close, but I don't know. Dallas did play Tampa Bay really hard.
Yeah. They did.
Really hard.
Yeah.
You got to give them credit.
So and Dak, he's turned the ball over a lot this year, and that's not something he usually does. So if Dak can keep the turnovers down,
they have a chance.
They have a good chance, but I don't know, man. I just think San Fran, like you guys are all saying as well, their defense is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, they got McCaffrey. Debo's finally back. Like
Kittle, oh man,
yeah, they just have so much firepower.
their offensive line's so good too. And then Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not bad even as a second back.
No.
I mean, most teams would kill to have him
Right.
Yeah, Dak's going to have to play the perfect game.
Yep.
for sure.
Yeah. And that's all the games.
All right,
All
buddy.
right.
We appreciate you going over that. That makes it fun and interesting. We are getting closer to the end. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens this weekend and who comes out. But here we are, fellas. This is what we all wait for all year. This is when the stuff really gets interesting in Dynasty Fantasy Football. It's the moment we all wait for. It's the funnest part, in my opinion, scouting these rookies, looking at them. Now, we haven't all watched a lot of film yet. We've watched some. We've kind of dove in a little bit, but we are familiar with these players. We've seen them play in games. We've seen film of them last year. I mean, we're real familiar with these guys. So it's really going to be fun evaluating them, seeing who picks who. And we got to start over here with Muss. We're going to start at the end of the table. Muss, you're going to have the first overall pick. And let me see. What are you going to do with it? I can only guess.
Trade it.
Yeah, I was going to say picks on the clock, Ty.
Yeah.
No, I think the consensus 1-1 here is Bijan Robinson. 6 foot, 215 pounds out of Texas. Probably the best prospect since Barkley, if not Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Probably in Superflex. I'm probably considered taking him 1-1 too, depending on landing spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in Superflex.
I think I am too.
As long as Dan Campbell don't shit in your mouth, right?
right. But yeah, so that's my pick.
Yeah, and the thing is with Bijan, man, I mean, every year it seems like there's always this one guy that separates himself from the pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's obviously the 1-1 here. I mean, but I will say, Jamar Gibbs is pretty close. I really like Jamar Gibbs. In my opinion, he's pretty close. I mean, he's a really good consolation prize.
Yeah, I really like Gibbs
That's,
as well.
if you got the 1-2, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. Like, I would really feel good about it.
If I had the 1-1, I honestly would try to trade it. I mean, I love Bijan, and I'm not saying that from a bad standpoint. I'm just saying, like, what you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're rebuilding. Like,
Yeah.
you could get multiple first, I bet.
Yeah. And
What if you could get a mid and then a 24 first?
Yeah.
What if you can get, like, Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Oh, yeah. Like if you could trade back 1 or 2 spots and get like a Gibbs or a Sean Tucker, and then you go and get Marvin Harrison next year.
Would you guys trade Bijan Robinson for Caleb Williams
In a super flex?
in a super flex?
I would. I would, because I mean, with the rushing upside of Caleb Williams and the fact that I've seen,
I just think he's so good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good stuff from him, man. Like, it's almost like they wanted Kyler Murray to be what Caleb Williams is. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it seems to me. Like, Kyler Murray's good,
Right.
but I think he's even better. You know, and you got to think quarterback, the longevity of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I would rather have him in a super flex league.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just
Man, that's
it,
tough.
it just determined on the landing spot.
Yeah, because you're waiting 2 years.
Right.
You're waiting
Right.
2 years.
And it depends on roster construction. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're
exactly.
if you're fairly good at quarterback, then that's a move I wouldn't advise making.
Right.
But I mean, if you're really quarterback needy, I think that's the best move you can make.
And it's got to be the slam dunk 1-1. Like, you can't be playing around where, like, it might be the 1-2. It's like, no, man.
Right.
It has to be the
Right.
1-1.
Yeah, you got to know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
like,
sure.
yeah, like if you're trading muscles in a league, you're going to get the 1-1.
That's true.
Unless all of his guys hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better hope.
You better hope.
There's no hope, and they are.
See about that.
But I'll tell you, man, one thing about watching Bijan, I will say this: the guy's got insane contact balance.
yeah.
I mean, and he just, I mean, he's not to me like the very, very best at between the tackles. But man, on them stretch runs and stuff, as soon as he gets it and he's going,
He's gone.
He's gone if he gets a hole, you know, and that's the thing. Like, he has good vision, great contact balance, special player. And I'll tell you, his pass catchings was really surprised me.
No, that's what I wanted to bring up, man. Like, I don't think people are stressing enough, like, literally how good his pass catching is. Like, his pass catching's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe the best in the class.
Yep. So underrated in that facet. But yeah, he's definitely the 1-1 in a non-superflex league. And that's the way we're doing this draft. One quarterback, you know, so one quarterback, Bijan Robinson, absolutely. And even in superflex, I think he's still the 1-1.
Yeah.
But so everyone knows, this is a non-superflex. This is just one quarterback. But really like that pick, Mush. You can't go wrong. That's everybody's consensus. We're going to go over here to Ty At the 1-2, who you taking?
Yeah, I'm taking Jamar Gibbs. One of the big reasons why he's from Alabama. I mean, look at a guy like Brian Robinson. Nowhere near as good of a prospect as Jamar Gibbs. And, I mean, he's got a starting gig. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest running back in the world, but he's got a starting gig, and he looks half decent. But Jamar Gibbs, just watching a little tape on him, he's such a smooth runner. I mean, he's so fun to watch. You can just tell the kid's going to be really good in the league. And on top of all of that, he's got great pass catching. His big time comparisons, Alvin Kamara, and I can see it completely. I think Jamar Gibbs smash hit. Just going to be a great player.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, I think that's a great consolation prize.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks when you don't get the 1-1 and you have a bad season, and you're like, oh, man, and you miss out on that guy. Mm-hmm. Like last year, you kind of got lucky with Kenneth Walker. I mean, we all really liked Kenneth Walker, but no one else really had the faith in him. But, you kind of still got a consolation prize last year.
Right.
But this year, to me, you got a definite one. Like, I would feel good about it.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is about Gibbs, and I watched this on tape, I loved how, like, when he went outside on some of these stretches and these counters and these tosses, I'd never seen, like, anyone in this class set up the blocks as good as he has.
Yeah.
He really is a smart football player. He knows where the creases are, and as soon as he hits that crease, man, he is gone. And he is a good pass catcher. He's a really good athlete. And it just worried me about his size. Like, I looked at his size, and I'm like, I don't know, man. That's tough, but he isn't that bad. Like, he's a tough guy for how big he is.
Yeah.
He runs hard.
He is.
And I just really like him. I mean, in today's NFL, I think he's perfect. Now, I would really like to see where he ends up.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little more landing spot dependent than Bijan. Like, Bijan can go anywhere, and he's going to be good.
Right.
And I think Jahmyr Gibbs, he can go to a lot of different places and be really good. But, like, I was always thinking, like, what if he went to, like, an AFC North team where it's more ground and pound? I wouldn't really like it.
Right. You need a physical runner.
Yeah, you need more of a physical guy. So, yeah, that's how I feel about him, too. He's definitely my 1-2 as well.
Yeah. The too much talent. You can't pass on a guy with that much talent. He's great. And like Ty mentioned, the Alabama tree of running backs has just been rich.
Yeah.
I mean, like he said, Brian Robinson was a really, it was second, early third-round pick this year.
Yeah.
And one quarterback. Mm-hmm. And you still got points out of the guy. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with that position with that team.
Nope.
I like looking at those histories, too. So we're going to go over to the 1-3. It's going over to me, and this one is fairly obvious, but it's still kind of like you could maybe go a different direction. But I didn't. I went with Sean Tucker, running back Syracuse. I mean, Sean Tucker's one of these guys, man, that it's kind of tough to gauge him. He plays in a smaller conference, but I really like what I've seen on film. He's just a really good, complete football player to me. Like he's just pretty solid.
Yeah.
He can actually, rush the ball really well, and he could catch the ball fairly good. Last year, he had 36 catches for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
That's pretty good. I mean, size, he's pretty good, typical running back size, 5'10", 205. And then on the ground, he put up another 1,000-yard campaign, 206 attempts, 1,060 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So he does have a nose for the end zone, too.
Right.
And I like that with any running back. If you can get in the end zone, and I mean, he scored a total of 13 times. Pretty good all-purpose running back. He's just one of these guys that I think a football team would love to have.
Yeah.
He's just one of them guys that you could plug in there. I don't think he's going to hit maybe superstar capabilities of like Gibbs and Bijan, but at the same time, I think he could be in the league a really long time. I really like him. I like his style, and I really like him at 3. I feel comfortable with it. I think he's just an all-around good player, and I think what you're getting is safe.
Yeah.
Like you kind of know what you're getting,
Right.
What do you guys think of Sean Tucker?
Yeah, I like him. I haven't watched a ton of Sean Tucker, and even really much of in college. I know everybody says he's super, super fast.
He is. He's a burner.
So, I mean, the little bit that I did see, I did like what I seen.
It'll be interesting to see what he runs.
And I want to see, being out of Syracuse, do you guys think he gets the draft capital?
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
But you see, like when we say fast, that's what worries me. It's like, let's see what he runs at the combine.
Yeah.
Because running, and I'm not discounting, Syracuse is still a big school. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, compared to, an SEC school,
yeah,
the athletes are, the levels are kind of dipped, so let's just see how fast he really is. And that's what's really important when you see these combine numbers come in.
Yeah.
And you can really put all that data together and say, okay, he really is that fast. Okay, so that's a check mark,
Right.
So it's kind of nice to see that whenever that time comes.
And it's going to be cool to see, like, when we do another mock draft after we actually break down the film. and
Yeah.
look at all
Right.
this
Yeah,
and
exactly.
see some landing spots.
Right.
Like,
Right.
we're just trying to dip our toes in here. And,
Yeah, this is way too early.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff we've seen in the past. And like I said, I've seen Sean Tucker a handful of times. And like I said, it just seems to me like he's just a solid player.
Right.
But just like you said, the key is with Syracuse, where does he end up? Does he get the draft capital? But I think he's got the talent. I really like what I've seen, so I'm going to go with him at 3.
So do you think he's more of a tier break after Gibbs then? Like,
Yeah.
Gibbs is in his own tier as
Yep.
well? That's
Yep.
how I feel,
Yep,
too.
yep. There's like
From
one.
little I've seen.
There's like 1A, there's Bijan, and there's Gibbs.
Yeah.
Then the next tier is Sean Tucker, Tank Bigsby. Them
Right.
type guys. So,
Right.
But I think out of all them guys, he's the one that I think is the best of all of them because I think he offers you a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the most home run hitter speed.
Right.
And we'll see, like I said, when the combine comes, we'll see what he runs. It'll be
Yeah.
interesting. But we're going to go over to the train. The 104. Who's he bringing into the station?
A couple guys I really like here. I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
And he didn't play really much at all last year. He just had a couple injuries. I can't even remember what they were. I think hamstring?
Yeah.
It was something with the leg. It's like hamstring
Yeah.
or calf or something like that.
But what we seen in 2021, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then whenever they go out and they talk to Chris Olave, they talk to Garrett Wilson, he says, no, he's better than me. No,
Yep.
he's better than me.
Yeah.
And what I seen was unreal. That 21 campaign, 95 receptions, 1,606 yards, 9 touchdowns. I mean, he was just a force to be reckoned with that year. So, I don't know. I've seen enough from 2021. I don't really care about 2022. Just call it as he was hurt, man. I mean, I think if he was out there, you would have still seen a lot from him. So, I debated between him and Addison. I absolutely love Addison. I mean, they're really, really close for me, but I feel like Smith and Jigba is more like the alpha prototype, the 6'1", 200 pounds. So,
And it's coming from that Ohio State.
yeah, and that's another thing. Ohio State, man.
Ohio State's putting out the receivers. They're doing a great job. And the thing is with Jackson Smith and Jigba, if I'm not wrong, Jamar Chase missed his last year of college too, didn't he?
Yep.
And hey, he turned out just fine.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
I mean-
Stuff like that happens.
Like that scared me when Chase did that because, I'm old school thinking wise, but like the game's changed.
Yeah,
Like
it
these
has.
guys are training hard. And the thing is, he is a really great player. Now, is he Jamar Chase level? Probably not. But he's still a dang good player.
I still think he has the ability to be, a top 12 wide receiver in the league if
Absolutely.
in the right place, the right system. So,
Yep. I agree 110% with that, man. Really like Jackson Smith and the Jigba, and it's going to be really nice to see him on the field.
yeah, it is.
When you hear about and you see these talents and they don't play, it just drives you crazy because you're like, I want to see him.
Yeah.
Did you guys see him in the Rose Bowl that one year?
Yeah, he tore
15
it up.
catches, 347 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane.
That
Yep.
is insane.
And that's just, and you look at Ohio State, they keep doing it. You pump out Garrett Wilson, you pump out Chris Olave, then you
Yeah.
pump out Jackson and Jigba. Next year, it's going to be
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
So, hey, whatever they're doing it right. They're recruiting receivers, and they're getting the ones that are good and the ones
Ryan
that aren't.
Hartline, baby.
He's bringing them in. Well, you can't go wrong with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he's the best receiver in this class. We're going to go over to Muss here, the 105. Muss, Ty says you've been doing your homework on this class.
I've been trying a little bit. Not as much. I'm going to these next couple weeks.
Damn well better.
Yeah, I damn well better. But I think as of right now, I think I'm going to go Zach Evans. I think he has the bell cow ability in the NFL. It'll depend on his draft capital. I'm kind of scared to see where he goes. But as far as a 3-down runner, I think that he has all the tools to do it, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And the thing is with Zach Evans, man, he just, I don't know. I think he was like, I think they accused him of something like off the field whenever he was there at TCU, and he transferred, didn't he? He transferred to Ole Miss. Yeah, he
he did
transferred to
Ole
Ole Miss.
Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you go back, Zach Evans actually, I think if I recall this, was actually one of the most highly touted running backs from his class. Like, actually, I think he was above Bijan.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from high school.
High school, yeah.
From
That
a
I do
short
not
yeah.
know.
from a short period of time.
Yeah.
It was just a short period of time. So, like, he has all the capabilities. like I said, I think he got into a little off-field stuff. But, I mean, yeah, he's a pretty solid player. I mean, I haven't watched a ton on him, but from everything I've seen, because I watch a lot of SEC games, and every time I've seen him play, I like him. I think he's a solid running back. He's really good between the tackles. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think that's a solid pick. Really, once you get past Jackson Smith and the Jigba, a lot of it can go, to me, it seems like any way right now. Mm-hmm. And that's why, like I said, when the Combine happens, the Senior Bowl happens, I mean, a lot of this stuff's going to start putting stuff in perspective, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see where the receivers go, because I feel like Nick Jigba is in a tier of his own receiver-wise.
Then Addison.
Yeah. So,
Quentin Johnson, yeah. I mean,
so
there's
like, I just feel like you got to take a running back.
Right.
I don't know. It'll all depend on landing spots.
Well,
like we all said.
There's no doubt looking at this class right now, it's running back friendly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the receivers, I mean, outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think you're starting to throw darts. Like I'm like Andy, I really like Jordan Addison. It's just, will he hold up with his size?
Yeah.
That's a big question. Landing spot. Where does he go? Who gets the draft capital? Who don't? But, I mean, Quentin Johnson, and we'll get to him, but, I mean, he's one of them players to me that, like, last year everyone was afraid of Treylon Burks, like the biggest boomer bust player. Like, if there's one in this draft, that's him. But we'll get to that in a second. But we're going to go over to Ty. The 106. Ty, who you taking up at 106 here?
Yeah, I got Jordan Addison. I hope he comes to Pittsburgh because I like the kid. He showed me in two spots. At Pitt, he played fantastic, and he even went to USC, and he played really good. So he showed me in two conferences that he can get the job done. He commands so many targets, and he always puts up big yardage and gets the touchdowns. I know he ain't the biggest guy, 6 foot, right around 180 pounds, but he's a smaller guy that plays big. Mm-hmm. And I just think at the right landing spot, I think he could be explosive. I see comparisons like Devonta Smith, maybe.
Yeah, that's a nice size comparison, type player comparison. But I will say this about Jordan Addison: me and Andy were watching the film on Kenny Pickett last year, and we're more Penn State guys. We watch more Penn State than Pitt, so we weren't as familiar with them until they started winning. Then it got interesting, But we were watching the film and we're like, "Who's this number 3 for Pitt?" We just every time. Kenny would find him touchdown, long play, big play.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere. I mean, this guy is lightning in a bottle. Like, he has that ability. I mean, it's like this. If you don't think he's got talent, why did USC bring him in? Mm-hmm. They knew what he's capable of. He's a weapon. I love him. I'm like Utah. I'd love to see him in Pittsburgh. I mean, if he really can do what he can do with his size, if he can make it work in the NFL, if he can play big, the sky's the limit for this guy. I love the way he's fast. He runs great routes, and I think that's the key. Like, he knows how to get open.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen mocks of him going to the Giants. That'd be a great landing.
That'd be another one.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be another one. There's a lot of good places where he could end up.
Oh, yeah.
And he's one of them guys that'll slip through the cracks a little bit. He could be down there around the teens the whole way to the back end of the first round.
And that's where you want, because, I mean, then
the better teams are picking them.
Better teams are picking them.
Hey, it benefited Jahan Dotson a little bit. I mean, going to Washington, instead of going to like Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that could have been a nightmare.
And to me, I mean, I think Quentin Johnson could be up there, but I feel Addison's a safer pick.
Yeah, I do
But
too.
if Quentin Johnson gets around the right people that can turn, he could be an absolute monster. I think he has probably the higher ceiling if he gets the right coaching.
Right.
The biggest boomer bust player in the first round, I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to go over now to the 107. This is me, and I can't help myself. I'm dipping my toes back into this running back pool. And I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby, running back, Auburn. Man, the guy, I'll tell you what, I love Tank Bigsby. He's a prototypical NFL running back. He's just big. He's a brawler. He's a bruiser. And I'll tell you what, man, surprisingly, he's actually a pretty good pass catcher too. And I really, like I was talking to Andy earlier, I compare him to kind of like Dameon Pierce. He's that style of player. And I love that because, as I said about Dameon Pierce, he's not my first pick to be a franchise running back, but I could see him being around a really long time. He's really capable in the league. That's the type of backs the league likes. And I just, I like them big backs. I think they're always going to have a place. And that's who I'm going with, man. I'm going to roll with Tank, man. Not only that, I think he's got the coolest name in the first round.
Yeah, Tank's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is for sure.
What do you think of Tank, Ian?
Yeah, I like him. I don't know how productive he was at Auburn. I have heard that he wasn't real productive, but some of the stuff that he does really looks good. So it's kind of weird it hasn't translated. So it might have just been an Auburn problem and not necessarily him.
He rushed for 179 attempts, 970 yards, and 10 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, he had the touchdowns. Then.
Yeah, he had the touchdowns, and then actually 30 receptions for 180 yards.
So it's kind of good you can see him catching the ball as well.
Yeah, he's at least capable. 6'2", 213. He just plays violent, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I like him. And I don't know. See, that's what worries me about Sean Tucker, and that's where we're going to find a lot of this out. Does Tank Bigsby go ahead of him because it's Auburn versus Syracuse?
Yeah.
Right.
That'll be interesting to see, but I really like him. I think, like I said, if you're really in this draft and you're one of them teams that are picking in the middle or the late, I think you're better served to go with, if you can't get your hands on, one of them receivers, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnson, or Jordan Addison. Let's say you're picking at like 8, 9. I think you're better served to go with one of these running backs just because that's where the strength of this class lies.
Right.
But we're going to go over to Ann now, the 108. Who are you taking at 108, Ann?
And the guy that we were talking about that scares me, Quentin Johnson. I mean,
someone had to take him.
At this point, at 8, I mean, I'll just take the risk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, honestly, he could end up being the best player in the draft. The best wide receiver. I don't know if he'll ever be better than Bijan, but
Right.
You get what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He's got the biggest boom-bust potential.
He does, man. He does. What really scared me, too, was against Georgia when he only had the 1 for 3.
Right.
That really scared me.
Me too.
Because
He seems like he's more of a down-the-field player. Jalen Rager.
Wait, didn't he go to TCU, too?
And Josh Doxson. So I hate to be like that because I like to watch film. I like to break it down. I like to get my own opinion. I don't really care about anybody else's opinion. This guy, I'm with TJ, though. He scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, though. At 1.8, you got to take him. Take the chance. It could really pay off.
Yeah.
Really make everybody eat their words. 60 catches, 1,069 yards, 6 touchdowns. So he's a big play potential guy. And I do like that he's a 6'4", 215.
Yeah.
I mean, that helps you. If you're a burner at 6'4", 215, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of got the whole package at that point.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. It scares the hell out of me what I seen against Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the closest thing to an NFL defense that you're going to see, in college. So, but I mean, TCU just struggled that whole game in general. I don't know if it's fair just depending on him.
Right, yeah, it's hard too.
It is hard. It makes it tough. But I mean, the thing is I just, the spot, like Treylon Burks, man, he went to Tennessee. I mean, A.J. Brown was able to do it, but A.J. Brown's a special talent.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, when he went there, it's kind of like, oh boy, he's going to have to be that good.
Yeah.
So like Quentin Johnson, like to you, where's a team you'd like to see him end up on?
Let's see who's picking up high. The Texans, maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking them.
If they get if they go the Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, I think that would be a really nice young connection.
How about the Bears?
If
they trade back,
possibly can Fields get it to him?
That's the question.
And that's the question even with the Texans, because it's like he's kind of a big play guy.
Yeah. I think the Giants would be the
Giants
are like my wide receiver sweet spot. Like whatever receiver goes to the Giants, if they draft one in the first round.
I would like the Titans too.
Yeah. Titans
because
would be nice.
you seen what AJ Brown could do there. I just feel if Tannehill is the guy there, which I don't know if he will be or not, that maybe he can.
Malik.
Huh?
Might be Malik.
Well, if it's Malik, then fuck no.
Well, and like Musk said, the Giants, I really like the Giants for Quentin Johnson just because of Brian Dable.
Yeah.
Like, I think he needs that. He needs someone that can help him.
I just get worried, like, he's this big guy, and I might catch shit for this. Is he Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Right. You know what I mean? Like, is he a guy they're just going to blow down the field, and if he's open, fuck it, throw it up. And if he's not, okay, he cleared it out for the underneath guy.
Right.
I seen his biggest NFL comparison was Martavis Bryant. That was his big comparison.
And, Martavis was good if he could have kept his head on straight.
Yeah, he was.
That was the thing. But I will tell you this, though. It's just with Quentin Johnson, man, it's just so, like I said, they're the hardest players. And if you're picking from like 6 to 9 to 10, somewhere in there, you're going to have to make that call.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting. It really will. But I wanted to see what you guys thought about landing spot for him. I thought that was really interesting. Like I said, it's only going to get better as we go. Mm-hmm. We're going to go over to the 109. And we're going to be looking at Muss here. All eyes are on. The pressure's on. 109. Who you bringing into the Monsters facility?
I think I'm going to bring in Josh Downs. A little bit of a smaller receiver, but, Devonta Smith proves it, they can do it. And I think with all the running backs, I think he gets pushed down, but back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah.
I haven't watched much on him, but I do know I really like Drake May, the quarterback.
Oh, okay.
And I know that, he was in a good system, so.
Yeah.
You said he's pretty small. I honestly, I haven't seen really anything on him.
One thing I'll say is it just
5'10", 180 pounds.
5'10", yeah.
It just scares me with North Carolina.
Right.
That's another one because, De'Ami Brown, remember him? Mm-hmm. It's tough to say, what they're doing. They're more of a prototypical college offense. Will it translate to the pros? Who knows? But, he's one of them guys, man. He could be lightning in a bottle, so it's something to watch. I'm like Andy. I haven't seen much on him. But, a lot of it's going to depend on landing spot.
That's exactly it. And draft cap.
I was just going to say, there's a premium on wide receivers right now.
Yeah.
So, more than likely, Downs gets drafted in the second round.
Right.
I would think so.
From what I'm reading and stuff, he's going to probably go in the second round.
Yeah.
So, that's great. And that's the thing, when you get to this point, I'd rather take the second round receiver than I would the fifth round running back that everybody's on a fucking pipe dream.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Spiller goes in the fourth round. It's oh, Spiller. Yeah. And everybody's passing Jahan Dotson. It's
right.
I wasn't a big Jahan Dotson fan, but I'm not taking Spiller over Dotson.
Right.
And there was other ones. Wandale Robinson.
Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
The year that all happened.
Yeah,
Don't say that.
I think I drafted him.
Yeah, then you traded him to me.
Yeah, I did. I forgot about that.
But that's a good point, though. You go back to the last draft with Spiller.
Yeah.
Wandale Robinson slipped.
Yeah.
Some instances, George Pickens slipped.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's man, you look at them players, and it's I would much rather have my hands on somebody like that.
And sometimes these guys can hit. Dameon Pierce somewhat hit. Somewhat. It's still scary.
Oh, yeah.
But, would you trade Damian Pierce? I'd rather have Jahan Dotson, George Pickens, than Damian Pierce.
Oh, I would too.
Personally.
Yeah, I would too.
You're going to have them for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. This is Dynasty. This is a long game.
And I like Damian Pierce. I do. I like what I've seen from him. He really performed for a fourth-round pick, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But you've seen it in the end of the season. It started to tail off.
And especially when you look down through the list, there's so many good running backs that are, he could be splitting time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. And like I said, I always compared Damian Pierce in the same light as a Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
As a Donata Foreman.
Good back.
Good back. Probably be in the league for, 7, 8, 9, 10 years maybe, but will he be the guy that's putting up huge fantasy numbers? No. Is he a guy that I'd like to have on my bench in case of injuries and stuff like that? I'd love to have him.
Yeah.
But, you got to keep it perspective,
Yeah.
So these receivers are valuable. Muss taking Josh Downs there, that could really pay off.
Definitely, man. I agree.
Well, we're going to move over to Ty here, the 109, and it's Nano Nation. Who's he bringing in?
Well, Muss, you just gave me a gem, so I really appreciate it. I'm going to take Keyshawn Butte. Fantastic.
Sex party.
What's that?
Sex party Butte.
Yeah.
Oh, he is a fucking beast. He's just a fantastic receiver. I love the guy. I remember I never really even heard of him his freshman year, and TJ told me about him, and I watched him. My goodness, this guy is going to be a problem in the league. He's another guy, 308 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in one game. It's just that he's proven before. And unlike Quentin Johnson, he did play this same Georgia team, and he put up, 107 yards and a touchdown. So
that's a big difference.
Yeah. So he's proved that he could he could put up the points on Georgia, even with not so great quarterback play at LSU. And all throughout his college career, especially his freshman year, he's proven that he's going to be a great receiver in this league. And actually, after his freshman year, I think people were already predicting him to be number one receiving prospect once he declared for the draft. And I know he struggled a little bit the 1 year, but I have no doubt if this guy gets in the right position, he's going to be a great player.
Yeah, definitely, man. The thing is with Butte is like Buzz brought up about the sex party.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen there,
Yeah.
but I mean, if everything turns out okay, and I mean, come on, these guys are college kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't they run a train on their trainer or something?
I hope so.
I think it was a caboose, I think I heard.
oh Jesus! But the thing is, man, it's like I don't like the talent's there, like Ty said, and he plays in that big conference. And LSU's another one. I mean, they've had a couple misses, but for the most part, their receivers are pretty good. And I would much rather take a chance on a Butte, than some of these lower end running backs. I think you're probably better served.
Yep.
But like I said, there's so much. Like when we get to the draft, where will he go?
You're right.
What's he going to do at the combine? Because he could easily blow the combine up, and then become like everybody's darling again. What do you think of Butte? And I know you watched some of him.
I don't know. He's so hot and cold. Like I feel like he's really good, and they brought in another receiver who's pretty young. I cannot think of his name, but he just straight out played him. So is Butte really good, and that guy even better, or is Butte just don't really care?
Right.
I'm more not really concerned about his play. I'm more concerned like his attitude. You know what I mean? Like fuck it, I don't need it. Fuck it, whatever.
And it's so hard because we don't get to talk to these guys, and
exactly.
like these NFL scouts.
He might be the nicest dude in the world. Like,
right.
He really might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
So just that. I mean, the sex party don't really.
No, it don't.
He's a kid. Whatever.
Yeah.
Have fun, man. Like,
yeah, it's just funny. You have to bring it up.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and he's just a big receiver too, and I think that translates.
And I think like what also caused me about taking him is just the what we have seen come out of LSU at the receiver position.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, that comforts me a little bit.
And like Terrace Marshall is not that great. Let's be honest. But I mean, we've seen some flashes this year where he didn't look half bad. I mean, he's a serviceable player.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you can get that. I think it's, like I said, you're just better served to take a chance on a guy like that has that potential. It has the size, and has the history at that college. I like it. I think that's a good.
I do too.
Where you got him, I like it. Because like I said, when you get down here around 1-8, the whole way going into the second round, to me, it's so early. It's just everything's mumbled jumbled right now.
Right.
So I think you go with something like that has good history. I like that. We're going to go over to me here. We're going to go to the 110. And it's going to be Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame. I'm going to take the first tight end off the board. I mean, Michael Mayer, man, I'll tell you, I've only watched a little bit of him, but I'll tell you what I watched, I really liked. What I really like is the touchdown total. He put up 9 touchdowns last year for Notre Dame, 809 yards on 67 receptions, 6'4", 265. That's like the prototypical tight end size in the NFL. And I just think he's got really sweet hands from what I've seen. Just really good at finding open spaces.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of comparable to like a Freiermuth style player. Like I said, look at them touchdowns. That's what he does. That's what he puts up. So I'm really banking on that. I like that in a tight end. Another good school coming out of Notre Dame. I mean, one of the bigger boys in the college football. And I don't know, man. I really like Michael Mayer. Like I said, I think he's really worth a first-round pick anywhere from like 10 to 12. I really like that. I'm willing to take him anywhere in there. I think you're going to get good value. I mean, I think he's worth it.
Yeah, I like Mayer a lot too. Right now, you're getting a really good tight end here at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be afraid to take him even a little bit higher over some of these guys in a tight end premium league.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting where he goes.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it's going to depend. Like we look back at last year, when McBride went to Arizona, everyone's like, oh,
yeah,
and now look,
yeah,
So I mean, you don't know. Like you just got to go with like we all knew McBride was a pretty good tight end prospect. Like,
yeah,
we're like, oh, this guy's pretty good,
Right.
Then he went to Arizona and the bubble popped. I mean, I think you got to keep that perspective, especially if you're picking on the back end. It's like, do you really need him to play right now? Maybe not. It's like I can wait a year or two. I can afford to wait a year or two. If I'm one of these teams that are in the Super Bowl or real close to being into the Super Bowl, I think he's that kind of talent. You can wait on him.
And I think he might be a little more valuable here too because there's not really much else after him that's like really attractive.
Yeah.
In fantasy terms. So
everything has him going to Green Bay.
Really?
And that could be a great one. And like I said, the thing, because he's going to start over Tanyan. They don't have anybody. But, just for example, if he goes to a team, just like I said, like McBride did, where you think the tight end position solidified, hey, man, don't fret, because if he's that talented, he's going to get the opportunity. You're getting the best player at the position.
Yeah.
I like that. I always like getting one of the best players at their position when I'm picking late like this, if I can do it. If there's a bunch of good running backs and receivers slide, I like getting one of the better receivers. If the receivers are getting picked and the running back slide, vice versa. And the tight end, hey, man, we didn't have a first-round tight end last year.
Oh.
So everyone's looking for the next big one. And like I said, I like the touchdown total. With tight ends, that's huge to me.
Right.
I like seeing that. 9 touchdowns is good.
Yeah.
We're going to go over to the A train here at 111. Who you bringing in now, Ian?
So this is kind of a reach. I just wanted to mention him because I did watch a little film on him, and I really liked him. And it's Eric Gray out of Oklahoma, running back. So with this guy, man, like, he has some plays where I'm like, I don't know. Like, kind of worried me. He'd sputter around a little bit, kind of hop step. But his vision and the way he would hit the hole, man, oh, my God. I think he could be a really big steal. I don't know if he gets the draft capital. I haven't really heard much about him. Like, no other analysts are really saying much. But he's somebody I wanted to go over. Might be a little bit early. He is a senior. He's 5'10", 211. He rushed for 1,366 yards, 11 touchdowns, 33 catches for 229. I got a little bit of Le'Veon Bell vibes.
That's what you're saying.
Not necessarily like a home run hitter, but a guy that might go 50 yards and get caught.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with that if you can get the pass catches and the touchdowns and everything like that. So, yeah, man, that's who I'm rolling with at this pick.
Yeah, and, that's the fun thing about doing this right now. It's someone that caught your eye.
Yeah.
And he could easily be propelled up the draft boards. And like I said, a lot of it depends on draft capital.
Yep.
I love that because I remember last year you and I were really high on a couple guys. Rashad White, James Cook. Some people are saying they might not go to third, fourth, maybe fifth round.
Yeah.
And then there they are getting picked. James Cook got picked in the second, and Rashad White was one of the first backs to get picked in the third.
Yeah.
And it made you feel good because it's like, man, what we're seeing, it's adding up, So I really like Gray. I really like that. And, you look at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They've been,
Ramondre.
Ramondre, he was a late rounder. They always seem to have decent backs there. Like guys, not even just backs, but guys that, like, you go to a school like that and you come out in the late rounds.
Yeah.
I like your chances. You played at a big school. You're going to get an opportunity. And, how is he a big guy, and does he run hard?
Yeah, he runs real hard.
I was going to say, and
he runs pretty hard.
Hey, maybe Bill Belichick will take him.
That's exactly what I thought.
You pair him with Ramondre.
Like I said, this is probably a little bit early. There's guys like Charbonnet. I really like Kendre Miller.
Right. There's a couple guys you can still take.
Devon A-Chain. Is it A-Chain or A-Chain?
That I don't know.
I don't know either.
A chain.
He's pretty good.
A chain.
I like him.
I do. I like him too.
If this was an actual, I'd probably take them guys over him just because I know I could get this guy later. But
it's kind of good though to get his name out there.
Yeah, it is. Because I hope people really watch this film. He played at Tennessee first.
Okay.
And he transferred to Oklahoma. So
it's someone to keep an eye on.
From
I like that.
Things I was reading, it was like a little bit sketchy. Like some other guys from Tennessee transferred as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know what was up with that.
Maybe the ship was sinking and everyone jumped off.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go over to Muss. He's going to finish this up at 112. 112, Muss, the last pick of the first round. Who you taking?
And he touched on him. I think I'm going to take Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Just
good pick.
Powerful runner with good hands. 220 pounds and, catch the football. So
yeah.
You got the best of both worlds. Like he could plow people over and catch the footbple.
UCLA, and he was a transferee too. I think he transferred from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yep,
yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, I like him. I like his game. He's kind of like him and Tucker kind of remind me, like they're real similar, like they can do a little bit of everything.
Right.
So, he could be a nice player. What do you think of him, man, Charbonnet? Last year he might have come out, but he didn't.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised he didn't come out last year.
Me too.
Tough dude, so.
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about him. I've watched from what I've seen. He's just a real tough, hard runner. And he'll find his way in the NFL. That's how he's going to win.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. I don't know how is he catching the football. That's one thing.
They said he's a real great.
He's a real good pass
I
catcher.
didn't watch a whole lot of film on him either. I just been reading about him, but they said he's a real good.
Yeah,
pass catcher.
I watched.
If you're a big dude and can catch the football,
That's exactly it. Yeah.
I watched a couple games with them, and I did notice that he's good at sneaking out. He's good at sneaking out, and that's going to be the fun thing when we start getting into these rookie breakdowns and we watch the film and we just have it, we go over it, and that's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, by that time the combine's going to be going on. We're going to see what happens at the Senior Bowl. I mean, like I said, it's just like Christmas for us. I can't wait for all that.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching this, I definitely say check out Eric Gray, another guy that this is over. So Kendre Miller,
Yeah.
out of TCU, really good back. He's 220 and he's fast as fuck.
He was on my list too.
He was.
Yeah.
He's a good one. A Chain A, who we didn't really touch on.
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn is like Darren Sproles 2.0.
Yeah.
He could be a lot of fun. It'd be interesting to see what
he's going to be a fun one to watch.
Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez is somebody I kind of liked, and then I went back and really looked at him, and I was like, he's like James Conner with sandbags in his feet. So
Yeah.
he is a bulldozer though. Somebody I mentioned to TJ, Chase Brown out of Illinois.
Really liked him.
Oh, dude, this guy's a really good pure runner. Not the best pass catcher, though. He catches a lot with his body, and he played at Illinois, so I don't know his draft capital.
Right.
But somebody that I really liked.
And then, like I said, I really like that. When we watch the film, it's going to be a lot of fun, ranking these guys, see where they measure up, where they stack up one against another.
Yeah, definitely.
And then see what happens with the draft capital. Because like I said, man, I remember last year we had a blast doing this. This was before we started the show, and we identified Rashad White and James Cook and people like that, and I identified Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
People like that right away we had in our top 5, right behind Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker. So when we really sit down and we get to look at this, that's when it's going to get interesting. But this is fun because it's nice starting to get these names out there.
Right.
Because these guys are all declaring, and they're going to be ready to go. So
Definitely.
it'll be a lot of fun. But that's
Yeah, it
gonna
is.
that's gonna do it for the first round of the way too early rookie mock draft. I think me and Ty are gonna sit down and we're gonna give you a second round just for a little something extra here in the next few days. Just, a lot of fun. Like I said, it's kind of nice to get these names out there. Some of the names Andy mentioned will probably be on that show.
Definitely.
So that'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a short one, but
Now you guys can't get your greedy little dick beaters on Eric Gray. I already got him.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. Like Andy had to take him. But yeah, no, we'll be doing the second round. That'll be a lot of fun. But this will wrap up this show. And next week, we're going to be doing a quarterback safe or not safe. So
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
That'll be a real good one. Andy put together a really nice list of guys. We're going to go over how we feel about them going into 2023, maybe what these teams do in the draft or via free agency.
Yeah.
So trying to get ahead of the game, seeing what we're hearing, have our ear on the ground, being prepared for it. But that'll be a lot of fun. The second round will be coming here in the next couple of days. That'll be for you guys, something a little extra. But a couple things to mention here before we hop off. Check us out on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher. We're in all the big ones. And now, with any luck, it might take us a little bit because we're newbies. We're green at this. But YouTube.
Yeah.
And we will give you the thumbs up on that next week if everything went good. And you can maybe check us out even there.
And it should be just Dynasty DNA on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
that'd
So
be
you
awesome.
Should be able to start looking us up. And I cannot say, and I know I speak for all of us, the support has been phenomenal these last few days. I mean, we've went up so many followers in this span of time.
Yeah.
And it just makes us feel good, because it's like, man, we're bringing you guys content. We're having fun.
Yep.
And we're talking about something we all love, and we're trying to grow the sport, and we're trying to push it forward, and we're trying to,
Definitely.
just share the gospel of fantasy football, Dynasty fantasy football. And like I said, you guys are awesome for doing it. We thank you so much for the support, the downloads, the follows, the 5 stars. It means the world to us. You guys are the best. The DNA Strand crew, #1. But we're going to be bringing you that stuff here shortly. Keep your eyes peeled for it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Dynasty DNA.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.